would you be prepared to die for, and how do you feel about death or the afterlife, whatever you want to call it?
Here we go. Should order food.
I'm going to quote John Lennon again and say, I'm not afraid of death. It's merely just getting out of one car and into another.
One vessel or another.
Yeah. So what I would die for is love. And that goes, it could be any manifestation of it. So and then any part of my life purpose. I will die for it. And
for example,
if I have an important message to share, I'm going to share it regardless of consequence. If I feel it in my heart that it needs to be spread, I won't censor myself for it. That's one example. No matter how controversial it may be.
Nice. John?
Something that I've thought about in the past. Used to scare the shit out of me thinking about it. I had a dream one night, and it was so vivid. I was on death row, and I had like this my last meal in front of me.
What was it?
It was steak, potato. I love potatoes and stuff. And I like maybe a nibble out of it, and I'm just sitting on the edge of the bed, just looking at the clock, and I can hear the tick talk. And then as I'm just sitting there, like the anxiety is crazy. And then I hear the echo of the footsteps down the hallway, click, clock. And as it approaches, I just see my time come up, and I actually woke up in a panic attack from this. Like, it was that vivid of a dream, and the idea of death is always, I think a lot of people it scares. But the more I've been reading, the more I've been opening my mind to different things, the more that I think, maybe it's not so bad after all.
But what would you be prepared to die for?
What would I be prepared to die for? Any cause. It would have to be a cause that I would like my death would be for the greater good. So like if it was like,
Like Iraq War.
No, really, who does that help? That doesn't help anybody. No, I mean it'd be like giving like something where like the people were taking back what was theirs, and like we were just throwing everything down. That is something I can wrap my mind around. I would die for this planet if it came to it, because this
Mother Earth.
Yeah, people just shit all over it, and I look at a tree, I'm like, I love you.
Yeah, I'd say for me, I mean, as stereotypical as the answer may be, I think I really would die for my family or the people that I really love in my life. And then I think the more interesting part of the question is, how do you feel about death in the afterlife? I mean, I think I take a somewhat similar but different approach to Steve, which is I don't think that death is something that needs to be like feared, and that your life should be guided by what you believe about the afterlife. I mean, I happen to be in, some people consider this depressing, but I think we just think that something magical happens after we die because we're humans. But I don't see why, just because we have a more powerful brain, that it's different from us stepping on an ant. I mean, to me, it's just, it's done, it's over. But I don't think that's necessarily a depressing thing, because the way I look at it is that doesn't change how I'm enjoying the life that I'm living now and how I choose to live the life that I'm living now. And I mean, to me, it's just, that's what it is. It's not a bad thing.
What's the point of being afraid? You're gonna die one way or another, so just accept it and move on.
And you gotta seize the opportunity. And regarding fear of death, I learned this a few months ago, that the base fear is not the fear of death, but the fear of non-existence.
Yeah.
So that's how people that hold these beliefs that they will somehow continue to exist, they're able to release themselves of fear, because they have that belief that they will live on in some shape or form. And yeah, I have similar but very different from your opinion. And like regarding the ant, who knows, that ant could be an expression of something that we can't perceive with our senses.
We could all be in the Truman Show.
Yeah, that, or I think this is a Buddhist philosophy. that we're all pretty much expressions of infinite possibility, like waves cresting in the ocean. So we actually, at our essence, we are the ocean, but this life, we're just a wave. So we're still part of the ocean, but we're individualized for a certain period of time until we go back into the ocean. And people that go deep into like ayahuasca journeys, they find that you do return to that ocean, which is supposed to be like infinite love or infinite consciousness. But it's like, and then that also kind of counteracts the idea of a soul. Like there's some fifth dimensional self that's like gonna come down in another body that's going to still be us. But it could be that, you know, when we're done, we're just back into the ocean and there is no us. There is no Stephen Parado or my identity or my personality or any of that. It's just whoop, back to the ocean, back to all that is. So that mentality is almost similar to the non-existence. But it's like the opposite of that, because you won't even exist as this individual expression, but you're back to all that is.
But when you get into Buddhism, I mean, just think of our memories, how they are in this consciousness. Not very good. That's proven scientifically and everything else. Our memories are horrible, even though we think they're good.
But here's a logical.
From one life to the next. You know, there's people that are really tuned in and can.
And that's 2 points. One is that the people that remember things from one life to the next, I was actually marinating on this concept this morning, that we could be like those Russian dolls. You know, there's one inside of another, inside of another. Whatever those Russian dolls are. So this human form could be just one aspect of those Russian dolls, and there's bigger or smaller aspects that go on indefinitely until it merges with all that is. And then regarding the infinite possibility that I keep talking about, logically, if you just think of it logically, everything is an expression of infinite possibility. You know? A sound is an expression of infinite possibility. You are an expression of infinite possibility. A mouse is an expression of infinite possibility. So logically, if you just think about it that way, we're all expressions of infinite possibility.
Boom.
Same as a heart-on.
Wow. It is.
And I like to express that expression.
Yeah.
One way to go with that.
That is an interesting expression.
Well, a lot of things
Oh,
can
by
come
the way.
from that.
Ayahuasca podcast?
Yeah.
Ayahuasca.
While we're all on it.
Oh, I've been listening to so much stuff too lately.
Albert Marcus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just such a cool guy. I want to party with him.
He really explores all those concepts.
Like he sounds like a dude you could just sit across and just hang out and chill with, and you'd be like, you know what, you're a good dude.
Yeah, and he the stuff he talks about is profound.
Now I want to try Iboga too.
Yeah, a quote that he said in the last one that I listened to was the ayahuasca, the medicine told him that he is gum on the bottom of nothing shoe. So he always talks about that, you know, after this we just merge back with the ocean of infinite possibility, and that's the kind of signs that he's got through the ayahuasca plant. Interesting stuff.
All right, for me, greater good or children, I would be prepared to die for. I really don't fear death. Don't know what an afterlife is. We've covered a lot of that.